Okay, now we're moving on to the next module. This is module number 2. This is the second most important thing you need to learn. We're going to go over the OFWC, one finger worship chords, simple chord shapes. Okay, and the first chord you're going to learn is that. Believe it or not, that's a chord. Okay, that open, like you're not touching anything. This is a D suspended. Now, that sounds pretty complicated if you've never heard of what a suspended is. Okay, so if you know a little bit about, if this is your D shape, this is a D, and you know a little bit about playing a guitar, suspended is when you push this one note. Okay, it was here, and then you're just putting your pinky down, so you're playing this right here. So this is your D shape, D, and then you add this note, and you let go. You're just adding your pinky, you're just raising this note to this note. Okay, it's just one. What that does is it kind of, like the name implies, suspended. It kind of makes you like it's not done, but it's like it's there, but it's not there. It's like keeps you on the edge of your seat, and then when you go back to the D, it's like, oh, you can relax. It's like you're building a little bit of tension. It's like you're being lifted up, and then you're put back down. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I have in my brain. So that's like a suspended chord. This is, you can use this as a suspended. We got to know which, if I call out a string number, you got to know what string number I'm talking about. So this might take a little bit of practice for some of you that this is completely new to. So remember, this is your first string here. The highest string, 1. This is in string 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in thickness or in gauge, it's the skinniest to the thickest. Okay. We also need to know our frets. Okay. So whenever I say open, or somebody says open, that means you don't fret, you don't press down on any frets. This is open. This right here from this right here, a fret technically is this middle bar right here that's going across right here. These right here are frets, these middle bars. Okay, but when we say fret, as far as where you put your fingers, it's this space, this wood space right here. You could think of it as like that. First fret, second fret, this whole thing, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and so forth and so forth. Okay, most guitars have markers on your frets, and that's to help you. So it's kind of hard to see. If I say 6th fret and you didn't have these dots here, these dots are actually your friends. Okay, so some guitars don't have these dots on the fretboard, but usually they have them. I don't know if you can see that, these dots here to help you. So when you're looking down, say like if you cannot, you don't want to be playing like this. You want to just be able to look at the top of it and know where you are. So these dots are your friends, and they have purpose and meaning. So they're fret markers. Okay, so now we're going to put some application to it. Okay, so now we can go over our chords. This is your D right here. Okay, so how I played that is this is one finger worship chords, right? So you only need one finger to play this chord. It's going to be your 3rd string. So you need to know which is your 3rd string. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this string right here, I'm going to fret something on this string. It's going to be your 2nd fret. Okay, so it's almost like a graph or a grid, like X and Y. So 3rd string, and you're counting from the high, this part going upward this way. 1, 2, 3. Open, 1st, 2nd. Okay, so 3rd string, 2nd fret. All 6 strings. That's a nice sound. That's your D. So this is your. So right now you can make a little bit of music. You can do this. You can go D, and then let go. D, D suspended, D. That doesn't make any, it's not sound like music, but it's like this. Okay, so that could be part of an actual song that you play. So what you're going to do is you're going to fret, and this is going to be applied to almost every other chord you play from, almost, not all of them, a majority I should say, of the rest of the chords. You're going to play with an arc technique. I'm trying to look at the monitor here. So you're going to press a string, and what's going to happen is you just want to hit at this point of contact right here. You're going to fret this string on the certain string on a certain fret. You're going to press down on it, and what you're going to do is this fleshy part on the bottom part of your finger is going to touch the string under it, and what you're going to do is you're going to mute it. What is muting? That's a mute. This is me plucking a string. This is me muting a string. So what you're doing is there is a percussive sound because you're making some kind of sound, but you're not really making a distinguishing note. So when you put and you strum a chord, and all these these notes, these obvious notes are going to ring out, you're not going to hear that mute. But if you mute on a harmonic, those are actual notes. That's if you notice that there's this ringing, chiming sound. Those are called harmonics. Like that's on purpose. Now this mute, there's no ringing, nice chimey sounds like that. That's a purposeful. I'm trying to do that. So this arc technique, okay. You play the note that you're trying to get your precise string, precise fret, and this fleshy part, you're going to mute the string under it, so you don't want that note to ring out. You want to kind of like stifle. Okay, it's like you're talking, but you put your hand over. So you're still going to hit the string with this, but you don't want it. You don't want it to make a lot of noise. And the rest of the strings you're basically dodging. So your only point of real contact, specific contact, is right there, mute, and the rest of the strings you're making this arc, so you're not touching all this part right here. You're not touching the strings at all. You're letting it ring out. So that's the arc technique, and I'll show you how to play the D. It's your fifth string, so you got to think, which is my fifth string? Again, we'll count from the bottom. Okay, your highest string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's this string. This is your A. It's an A note. Okay, so what you're going to do is fifth string, fifth fret. So fifth string, open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth string, fifth fret. Okay, get to that note. Okay, you there? Okay, now you're going to use your arc technique. You're going to play that note, and underneath, you see what's happening there? I usually use my middle finger for this. You could use your whatever's most comfortable, but I'll use my middle finger. I'll move it there, and then mute, and then the rest ring out. Okay, so I got that. Okay, so that's a D. This is your D note. When you play the fifth string on the fifth fret, that's a D note. Same as this note, but they're octaves apart. So it's the same note, one is higher and one is lower. This is a D, this is a higher D, and guess what? This is a lower D. So you can play all 6 strings. Again, you're muting the string under in the arc technique, under the D, which is this string. So you're muting the 1, 2, 3, your 4th string. So this is a D. Another way of playing a D. So what I want you to do now is you're just going to practice the 3 types of D, the D chord, and the different variations of the 3 different variations of it again. Open, just like your D, you can use that as a D suspended. This is your main D right here. Every string is... If you notice these 2, same note. And this D with the arc technique. You're not going to use this form as much as this one. And you can, feel free to, but I don't use this as much as this. Okay, so now we just go back and forth. So. To play transition as fast as I did, especially if you're still learning, but I just wanted to give you an idea that it does sound musical right there, though, what we just learned, or this one. This is actually kind of like in between a D and a D suspended. It can almost go both ways, but to make it simple, this is your D suspended, just at this point. This is your D, and let this be another way of playing a D. Fret a specific note here. And then the fleshy part of your finger will mute the string under it, and then because you're making this arc, this is not going to touch any of the other strings, so all the other strings are going to ring out. 5th string, 3rd fret. 5th string, 3rd fret. So why don't you practice and go ahead and find your 5th string, 3rd fret. Okay, so your 5th string, 3rd fret is right here. You should be at that note. Okay, this is your C, mute, and ring out. G, A, D. So all together. Okay, now something else that I have to say. When you're playing the C, you don't want to play this note right here. What you want to do is your lowest note, you want your lowest note most of the time. We're going to talk a little bit about this, the reasoning why, a little bit later. The lowest note in your chord, okay, this is going to be our lowest note. You want that lowest note, for some reason your ears kind of gravitate towards that, and even though this is a D, and this is a D, for your ear and your brain, the way it works, it doesn't want, this D will not sound as pleasant, even though it's the same note, but because this is a lower octave, it won't sound as pleasant as this D. This D will sound a lot better in the chord. Your C, because when I play this note, if I play this, this D sounds a lot better than that. What sounds better to you? That one or this one? You hear that bong, that bong. That something is not right there. So the lowest note in your chord, you want your lowest note to be the name of that chord that you're playing. So if you're playing a C, you want your lowest note to be a C right here. So C, mute, play, play, play. And when I strum, because this is a D, this is not the lowest note that I want in a C. I want the C to be my lowest note. I'm gonna actually just avoid the sixth string, the lowest string. I'm just gonna play, and that might take some practice too. So you're gonna have to pay attention to your left hand, play, mute, ring out, and when you do that, you're gonna have to dodge your lowest string. So this is your C. So hold that, and then make it musical. Don't just do this. And then there, I did a C. It's like. And sometimes what I do is I wrap my thumb here. I wrap it around and I just touch it, and I mute. So in case I hit it by accident, like just those two notes together, they don't sound good. So if I mute this with my thumb, it's gonna make a sound, more of a percussive sound, not a ringing out sound. So you can't hear that. Listen to the difference between this and this. It sounds the exact same. One I avoided it, one I hit it but I muted it, so you can't hear it. So that's your C. Okay, now we're going to learn our OFWC G. I love this chord. One finger, arc technique, hit the G. Your G is right here. Your sixth string, fifth fret. Okay, sixth string, fifth fret, right here where the marker is. So we're going to play that G, mute, and the other strings are ringing out. So G. Practice that. Okay, now I want you to just go back and forth and mix up your G, your C, and your D. So let's start with the G, and you can all play with like any finger that you want. So I guess in the beginning stage, let's use our pointer and middle finger, okay? Or you can use your middle finger for the whole thing. So let's play a G, C. Remember, this is arc technique. Play, mute, ring. C. This is your fifth string, third fret. Play. This is your C. So play, mute, ring. Play, mute, ring. Play, mute, ring. Okay. And then your D, you can use your pointer finger, or if you want to keep using your middle finger, that's fine. So. All six strings. C, G. So it's like you're going here, here, here. Like you're going up and down a step ladder, or you know, like this. What I mean, as far as the frets, down, back up, down, back up. Sometimes I just use my thumb to mute that because that doesn't sound good. This finger or this finger. G and C and D and You don't have to strum. If you're a beginner, you don't have to strum as much as I do. I'm just playing it to make it musical. When just play the when we play like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's the timing of things. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. What I want you to do is just play the 1, and after you play the 1, start switching. And when you come back, let's play all the ones together. So you sound like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. As long as you got, let's play the ones together. You can cut out the rest of the noise. You can start switching early. That's fine. I want you to, and we're going to talk about timing a little bit later after and get more specific on this, but it's very important that you have to be on the beat on the 1. The other beats, 1, 2, the 2, or if you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the twos, 3s, 4s are not as important as you coming in. So the most important thing is you make sure you change your finger is where it's supposed to be. It's like you gotta be someplace on time, okay? You want to be there. In fact, you want to be there early. You want your fingers to be there a little early before you hit that strum, because you want that strum to be on time, and that's what is going to make you sound musical versus unmusical. And again, the 2, 3, and 4, they're all important. All of them are important to keep in time. But if you got to pick something, the priority is to get your first strum on time on the beat. So again, it can be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm kind of exaggerating, but as you can see, I kind of cut out the chord. It wasn't really long. I cut it short, but I wanted to make sure that my strum, that 1 is on time. Got it? Okay, now instead of playing the D this way, what we're going to do is we're going to play this D using the arc technique again. So this is going to be your maybe one note at a time. So it's going to go 1, 2, 1, C, 2, D, 2, C, back to the G, and C, and D, and C, and G. Okay, so that's your target notes, and when you put them all together, using all of these notes are going to use the arc technique. Play that target note, mute the string underneath. So mute, C, mute underneath, D, mute, C, mute, G, mute. Okay, so now when we strum the whole chord, it's going to go G, C, 2, D. So this D, this is a D. You can play this because that sounds good, because this is, again, your lowest note this is a D, so you want that. So G and C and D and C and G and C and D and C and G. Okay, what we're going to do now is I want you to alternate playing your D. Okay, so let's do the target notes first. Okay, so it's your G and C, and target this note. This is not a D. Just know that this is how you play a D chord. This is actually an A note. Don't get confused. Okay, so you don't even need to know that this is an A note. I just wanted to throw that in. If you're wondering why does that sound weird, that's not a D. That's an A note, just so you know. But don't let that confuse you, because the reason why is there's an A note in the D chord. Okay, so that's why it sounds good. Okay, so we're just doing target notes. Okay, it's just try not to get too confused with that. So it's G and C, and when you go to your D, target note, and C and G and C. Now go to this D, D and C and G. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go play this D, and then we're going to play this D. Okay, so remember, arc technique, arc technique, arc technique. This one is just, we just play that specific note and let everything ring. So it's going to go G and C and D and C and go to the next D, C, this is the next D, and C and G. Go to our first D, this D, and then the next time around we're going to play the second way of playing the D is right here, 5th fret. So it's going to sound more, a little bit more musical. Is and just keep going back and forth, back and forth. C, G, C, D, C, G, C, slide up D, C, G, and just keep going and just keep playing and make it musical, and that's actually a song that you can play. Holiness, holiness is what I long for. Holiness is what I need. Holiness, holiness, what you want from me. Okay, from this point out, I'm gonna go a little bit more accelerated, because now that you should know what string, if I call out a string, if I call out a fret, and you know what the arc technique is, we can go a little bit faster, so you can start playing a little bit faster. So the next chord that I want to introduce to you is the E minor. Okay, the E minor is your 6th string, 2nd fret. So go ahead and find that, your 6th string, 2nd fret. I'll give you 2 seconds. It's right here. Okay, I hope you're there. Okay, right here. Okay, so arc technique, you are gonna play that specific note, and you're gonna mute right under it, and you're gonna ring out the rest. So E, that's your E, mute, ring, 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 ring. That's your E minor. So what I want you to do now is mix up your G, C, D, and your E minor. And if you know a little bit about chord progressions, and go ahead and just have fun with it. If you don't know what chords to play next, just play, and use your ear to tell you if that next chord sounds good next to that other chord. So it's a little bit of a trial and error. So let's just start on our E minor. Where to go next? Try something. G. Maybe just go back and forth. E minor to G. G. just, just putting chords together, and I just did it improv. That was just what came to my brain. Some of that sounded good. Some of it sounded like, I don't know about that. So I want you to just, spend some time right now. You don't even have to go any further. You've learned four chords, and believe it or not, you can play hundreds. I mean, hundreds of songs, whether they be even secular songs. Hundreds of songs can be played with four chords, those specific four chords too. So just have fun with that and practice. You can stop the video and just practice going and play those four chords, and just try to make some music. And if you have some songs that you found on the internet, and if the chords are G, C, D, E minor, go ahead and put what you've learned so far and practice it. Get your chord, your music, put it down, and start playing in this style. And it's going to take a while for your muscle memory, for your hands to know where to go, your fingers to know where to go, and your brain, and how to, and you're playing, and you're listening, and you're just paying attention to what's happening, and just have fun. Just make some music. And again, when you're playing your D, try to practice playing it like that, and practice it with the arc technique like that also. Switch it up so you get used to playing any style, and then when you're playing, listen to what sounds better. Does this D sound better? Or in that song, does this D sound better? So just have fun, and I would suggest you don't go any further unless it's too easy for you. If you've been playing for a while and you get it, then you can keep going to the next chords. But if not, you can just stay right here. Even like this is all for today. Don't even go any further, and just start making music.